use this AMA to explain why we created BitX and what exactly that we're doing. So Bitcoin is like the most influential asset of our era, right? And yet the way that it's produced has become more and more increasingly concentrated over the past decade. And it's a game for large capital and giant mining farms. So we saw another possibility. What if the efficiency is redefined so the smaller miners, large farms, and even the non-professionals can all reclaim this productivity? And this is where BitX began. We don't want the Bitcoin mining itself to devolve into just like an arms race of who owns more machines, right? And instead of we aim to build the efficiency structure of the mining through the technology and the intelligent algorithms. So in kind of a way to bring the Bitcoin production back to its essence of the technology that creates the value. And when I first delved into the mining in 2019, kind of two realities struck by me. And the first is the extreme centralization. Mining was no longer an open market like it was before, and anyone that could join. It just became a contest of capital, scale, and this huge electricity resources. Small miners could hardly survive, and of course, farms kept getting bigger and bigger, and efficiency wasn't really truly improving. The second reality was the massive inefficiencies. Tens of thousands of rigs are just scrapped every year, not just because they're broken, but because they just can't keep up in terms of efficiency. And that's a level of system level optimization failure. It's just not a hardware failure. Well, while the industry it chases that bigger, it kind of ignores the faster and the smarter. It's a bit like manufacturing, where instead of building like bigger and bigger factories, software, not steel, could double the speed. And that question became BitX. And our mission is simple: to make efficiency the scarce asset. So anyone from a hobbyist
to make a research. Of course, this is not a financial advice. Everyone must make sure to do their own research. So, Mr. Brian and also Ms. Alexander, who just stepped in, is going to be answering a few questions, of course, that will be coming from my end. So we have touched, on the foundation, of BitX right now. So we want to know, want to talk about, the problems now. What core problems did BitX set out to solve?
Well, we target that, I like to call it the efficiency gap. You know, that delta between the theoretical ASIC and the capability and the real world delivered hash. So today that gap is 100 to 300%. And we close it with AI-driven control layer that does three things. First, predicts the optimal launch search space. And second, it rewrites the low-level SHA 256 instructions. And thirdly, kind of streamlines the miner to pull messaging via the Stratum V2 tweaks. And the result, well, it's up to 1 to 3x output per TH per second without touching your power contract. And the result, well, it's up to 1 to 3x.
Okay, so what I understand now, from all you've said so far, you're basically rewriting the factory floor, with the software. Am I right?
Well, exactly. Just think Tesla over the air performance boost, right? But for every ant miner ever produced.
Well, exactly. Right. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Brian. So next, let's bring on the CTO, Mr. Alexander. He's been quiet, since he stepped in. The chief architect behind BitX V2. So, Alexander, we would love to dive into the technical side, which we mentioned from the beginning. So, how does BitX V2 work? And sorry, this question is going to be hitting you, simultaneously. So, how does BitX V2 work, and how does it, integrate with existing miners and also efficiency? We would also want to know, what performance, gains can it, deliver in real world deployment, and finally, compared with, the traditional, buy more hardware, as it is said in quotes, the buy more hardware approach. What advantage does it actually have?
First of all, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm Alexander, CTO of BitX, and I'm pleased to share some of our technical breakthroughs. So, BitX V2 is a hybrid module, USB remote hardware activation plus a companion firmware patch. So, under the hood, we combine three engines. Number one is AI path prediction engine. So, we trained a reinforcement learning model on 18 billion historical nonce attempts. So, it now predicts high probability regions on the SHA 256 solution space. So the ASIC skips dead zone. Think of it as the Waze, but for hash navigation. And number two is instruction level recompiler. So we don't rebuild miners. We dive into the chip control logic to remove redundant operations at the root. And number three, most important, latency aware pool optimizer, Stratum 2 Plus. So we reduce data latency between miners and pool, lower orphan block rates, and raise block success rates. So together, these deliver the 100% efficiency boost you are seeing. And in our first large-scale deployment in Kazakhstan on the mainstream S21 rig, we rolled out in phases without shutting down operations. Local models, that's really amazing. The deployment of BitX V2 accelerator is simple. First, no shutdowns. We hot swap V2 sticks into control boards. Second, three-stage tuning. Discovery, profiting, adaptive, steady state. Third, feedback loop. Uh, Telemetry feeds back to our cloud, so our models are improving uh, in real time all the time. So BitX V2 focuses on mining efficiency, not blind expansion. So traditional thinking is linear. Don't have enough hash, buy more rigs, more power, more space, but the path get heavier, less green, and less flexible. So compared with our hardware stacking, we offer three clear benefits. Number one, most important, lower cost. Two, faster deployment. And the third one, better resource reuse. So, if traditional farms win by piling on hardware, PITX lets them win by multiplying with technology. So that's the whole part of the technical aspect of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Alexander. You actually covered all there is to know. I was sort of wondering when I hit you up with all those questions. I really like the way you simplified everything. In simpler terms, for the listeners, to understand. So I would like you guys now, the listeners, to join BitX on Telegram. Do not forget. Everything you need to know, including the updates, are currently available in the Telegram platform. And also, I would like you guys to also check out, the X space where you can actually have a very good follow up and get all the updates, that are very, very important as well. Some of those updates may serve as answers also to your questions, because I think you guys do have questions about, certain, information that you have actually labeled on, the roadmaps. So thank you so much, Mr. Alexander, once again. That's really impressive. So is there any barrier, for older rigs?
Anything from Ant Meter S9 onwards is compatible. The oldest S9 see a 90 to 110% output. Newer machine touch tremendously higher. We purposely avoid exotic volt modes, so warranty always remains intact. So that's the whole part of the technical
All
aspect.
right. Thank you so much, Mr.
You're
Alexander. I
welcome.
think that's all. We'll be giving you a breather now. I'm circling back to Mr. Brian, and then I'm going to be having you talk about, the efficiency and all that.
Sure.
So, moving on now to Mr. Brian. Those results are, absolutely stunning. But, text value must actually reach with, users and also markets. So, Brian, could you sum up what BitX means to, for different groups, and how do ordinary miners, small firms, and even non-technical investors benefit from this?
Well, I would want you not to think of BitX as just a product, right? Just think of it as a new way to participate in the mining of the Bitcoin. So let's talk about, for example, in large farms, right? So you've got the V2 accelerator. It's an efficiency tool. So think of it like as a second engine that lowers the marginal cost and lifts the profit margin. And for mid-sized operators, well, it can be a technological leap, like letting you compete actually with the big farms, but on a smaller budget. And of course, we can't forget the retail enthusiasts. Think of the V2 accelerator as a new entry point. And by activation, you're joining that mining ecosystem. So you receive proportional hash rate gains and share in the returns.
Amazing, amazing. So just like I said from the beginning, before I went on to Mr. Brian, efficiency also, intersects the ESG debate. Alexander, what do you think about this?
Absolutely. Mining carbon narrative is intense. Doubling output per watt means 50% less CO2.
Yeah.
Per Bitcoin, identical energy mix. Fewer waste piles, old rigs stay profitable longer. Ability to run rigs in containment mode during grid stress. Thanks to our dynamic power throttling, we are proud that we are helping mining farms achieve their ESG targets.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. So back to you, Mr. Brian. Is there any, compliance hurdles, that we should know of?
That's a really great question. And well, because BitX, it's just a purely software layer. So it's going to bypass all of that hardware import tariffs and all of the ASIC licensing battle. All of that is just going to be skipped. It wouldn't apply. So while the code isn't open source yet, we've already filed for patent applications to cover our core algorithms, and we're definitely confident in securing those rights. Meanwhile, though, we adhere to standard cybersecurity guidelines. So, from a compliance standpoint, we're definitely in a clean lane.
Yeah, I believe so too. So, guys, that's all about that. We're going to be going quickly now into, because I think BitX actually have, plans for global expansion, and also the token vision is also something, that we need to look into. So we've received, a popular community question right now. You see, besides, Kazakhstan, in what other countries or maybe regions is BitX negotiating deployment right now?
Great question. Well, Kazakhstan is just our first stop. So deployments and talks, they're underway in several other countries, and MOUs will be signed. So definitely keep following our socials and stay tuned. deployments and talks. They're underway in several other countries, and
All right, so we have that in the books. So another frequent question, is will BitX consider issuing its own token, and would there be an incentive for broader participation?
It's a really thoughtful question, but our current model, it does not rely on a token. So the deployments and the revenue sharing, it's already giving us healthy business. But however, we're still exploring a longer term possibility. So if BitX becomes a global hash rate efficiency network coordinator, we could definitely turn efficiency into a value unit that circulates within the ecosystem. But we don't want to just simply issue a BitX coin just for the sake of it. Instead, we're thinking first the exposure side of the incentives. Can the tech communities, the KOLs, the node operators earn the rewards for promoting BitX and sharing the efficiency as value? And as well, the composable efficiency and the point system. So, like converting farm onboarding, the algorithm deployment, and performance into efficiency points. So, these could upgrade systems, share the profits, grant priority rights, and as well link to Web3 mining platforms. So to kind of sum it up, we won't issue just a token just to issue one, right? But we're leaving the room for a mechanism that genuinely actually adds value. Kind of sum it up, we won't issue just a token just to issue one, right? But we're leaving the room for a mechanism.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brian. And I want to say a huge thank you also to Mr. Alexander, for taking time out, to answer some of, the questions. So we have one more questions now before we go into the community Q&A. And we're going to be dealing on 8 hot questions, guys. Are you ready? So we have one more questions now.
Definitely.
Before we go into the All right, so one more question before the community Q&A. What was the minimum threshold to participate, if my budget is tight? All right, so one more question before the
Well, single BitX V2 accelerator, the actual device costs about $1,000 US, which can definitely be high for the retail investors and the newcomers. So we created a shared accelerator model, so the newcomers could be introduced into that. And with only $100 US, you can actually own a share of the BitX V2 accelerator device and receive a proportional share, of course, of the efficiency gains. So no technical background needed, just purchase and enjoy an efficiency-driven Bitcoin production journey.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. So just like we promised, guys, that's all about, the introductory side of it. And I think with everything we've said so far, basically going to the website, is that's why I like attending, AMAs like this. Definitely going to be giving you guys, very good insight into what the project is all about, talking about BitX from its very foundation, and also some technical and basic questions, which have already been beautifully and intelligently answered by our guests. So we would quickly be going to the community Q&A now, which also might cover some of the questions from those who would eventually, be asking questions in the Telegram, or those who have questions in mind. Of course, if we are not able to answer those questions, I would like you guys, to send the questions to your Telegram community. They have moderators who are ready seated to answer, those questions. So I would quickly be asking the first question now. So here comes to our community Q&A session. First question: what do we have? Do I have to buy new mining machines to use BitX V2? First question: what do we have? Alex?
The answer is no. And the good thing about the BitX V2 is that it plugs into the equipment you already own. Think of it like a software update for your phone. that suddenly makes anything run twice as fast. So you don't need new hardware for that.
All right. So that has been beautifully answered. You don't need new hardware, for the BitX V2.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Alex. So the next question is also, I think this question, would be answered by you, Mr. Alex, because I think you're better suited to answer that question. A bit more technical. Will installing BitX V2 void my manufacturer warrant?
Uh, no, it won't. Our devices sits on top of the miner's existing software and can be removed at any time. So your original warranty always remain fully intact.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
yeah, of course, it won't affect, your manufacturer warranty, guys. So yeah, very notable question, of course, and there's the answer. So the next question is for you, Mr. Brian. The next person is asking, what happens if Bitcoin price drops? Really important. Does BitX still help?
Of course, the question is, I can understand where it's coming from, and yes, BitX definitely still helps. You can tell me how, and I'll tell you by squeezing more coins out of every hash rate we pay. So that was the efficiency we were just talking about earlier, right? So BitX, it lowers your break-even point. So think of it, even in a bear market, you mine more efficiently than the other competitors who don't use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's quite understandable. Yeah, because someone who's quite experienced, in the crypto space, should actually flow with that. So that's absolutely amazing. The way you answered that, Mr. Brian. So the next person is talking about, he's saying, I'm not a tech person. How hard is the setup?
It's super simple. Of course, we take into account that. So it's straightforward. You just register an account, purchase, and activate. And it's all fully self-run by BitX. You don't even need to type a single line of code. It's straightforward. You just register an
Amazing.
account,
Thank you
purchase,
so
and
much.
activate.
So we are quickly going to be going to the next question, which is a bit more technical and quite simple as well. This is for you, Mr. Alex. Is BitX environmentally friendly?
Well, absolutely, because when you look at it, because you get up to twice the Bitcoin with the same
Yeah.
electricity. Your carbon footprint per coin is cut roughly in half. So fewer wasted machine also means less electronic trash for the environment. So yeah, it's very environment friendly.
Okay, yeah. So you heard Mr. Alex. It's absolutely friendly, guys. I think it's sort of like a follow-up question from the first question that was thrown to Mr. Brian. So also, Mr. Brian, you're coming up once again. This person is asking, can I try BitX? Okay, I think I got a notification here. The next person is asking, can I try BitX without spending a lot?
Definitely. And just like we said, we offer the shared accelerator where it's a plan where you can just start with as little as 100 US dollars. And with that, you're going to earn a slice of that extra Bitcoin the system generates. And no hardware purchase needed. And with that, you're going to earn a slice of
Thank
that
you so
extra
much.
Bitcoin
Thank you
the
so
system
much.
generates.
So, moving on now. The next and final question from the community Q&A. Where is BitX expanding next after Kazakhstan?
Well, we're actively, of course, negotiating with some of the largest mining farms in few countries, and the formal agreements are expected to be signed in the coming months. I wish, but I couldn't tell you more, so that's why you should follow us on our social media for more updates.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much. Guys, please, just like I said, I've been making emphasis on the fact that you guys have to do a very good follow up of BitX on the social platform. And it's sort of nice that, Mr. Brian wrapped up his answer by, mentioning that. So I would like you guys, to follow BitX on all the socials and also, for all the updates you need. I would like you guys to also join the Telegram community, which is also part of the socials. So we've learned a lot, tonight, this afternoon, or this morning, wherever your region is, of course. That mining's future isn't just louder, friends, and it's smarter bits. And I would like to give a huge thanks to the CEO, Mr. Brian Ashe, and also the CTO, Mr. Alexander, for laying out, both vision and also, verifiable numbers. Of course, this is going to be a perfect time for Mr. Brian or maybe Mr. Alex, to give us, the final words in one sentence as to what is BitX.
I can answer that, and I want to put it simply. BitX, it rewards every miner on Earth, so efficiency, not capital, wins the next block. We don't mine or build miners, but we want to 3x every miner's efficiency. That's what's at the core. That BitX, we empower the resources instead of owning them, and we change the rules instead of joining the race.
All right, thank you so much. And with this, we have actually come to the end of the Binance Live presentation of the BitX project. So thank you again to BitX CEO, Mr. Brian Ashe, and also the CTO, Mr. Alexander, and everyone watching. Miners, farms, and also investors. I would like you guys, to visit BitX on www.bitx.tech, and I would like you also to follow BitX on Twitter, and also, check out, BitX on Twitter at BitX Mining, for the latest news and also development. So, of course, everything has already been discussed, and Mr. Alexander, you have something to say?
So, in the end, I would like to say that I hope everything's clarified with the technical aspect of it, and thanks for having us, and keep tuned.
All right, so that's all there is to know. Of course, another important update I would like you guys, to know about is what is currently going on, in the project. We are going to be posting the BitX QR, where it's going to be another opportunity for you guys, to participate in the lucky draw, and of course, creating an opportunity for you guys also to make passive income. So the QR code is going to be posted in the Telegram community for everyone to check it out. So thank you guys so much for having us, and also we really appreciate you guys coming up to answer some of the questions from our end. So I would like you guys now to ultimately feel very comfortable, of course, to come back, of course, for another AMA, and definitely going to be catching you guys up. So I wish you guys and the rest of your team the very best for the future. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.